So our speaker today is James Robilotta. He has spoken to thousands of college students all across the country. But rather than bore you with a list of awards he's won and places he's worked, here are some much more interesting facts about James. He grew up in Sayville, New York, which was voted the friendliest town in America in 1994. How old were you in 1994? 2. They were 2. So for all you know, man, that town is miserable now. He earned his BS in marine biology at UNC Wilmington, and then it says naturally got his master's in counseling education, career change at Clemson. He is currently a paid freestyle rapper in New York City. So if you ask him at the end, he tried to run off stage last time without doing this. If you ask him to rap, he will. Someone needs to ask him, okay? Don't forget. He dislocated his right knee at his senior prom, dancing to Shania Twain's unfortunate hit, Man, I Feel Like a Woman. James is here today to share with us his thoughts on leadership and ethics. He's also going to tell a joke or two. Please attempt to laugh where you see fit. So that's the official story. I met James about 3 years ago. We're in the same speaking agency, and something about him just struck me. I'm around professional speakers all the time, and most of the time you kind of just say, okay, yeah, whatever, nice to meet you. There was something about James that I thought was compelling, and I brought him here to be with you. And understand that I'm not just going to give this microphone to just anybody at this Ethics Boot Camp. I really just trust James. I trust his message, and I really, really believe that he's a man of character, which is enough for me. So let's give him a warm DU welcome.
Appreciate it, Professor C. Anybody taking his class yet? There's no way they're that happy about hanging out with you, man. I'm just playing. Guys, pumped to be here. How we feeling, all right? We doing all right? Good, good. What's going on in the middle section? How was the Build-A-Bear? Yeah? Adorable. Yes. Guys, I'm excited to be out here. Excited to be out here in Denver. Corey told you a little bit about me, but I feel like we need to bond a little bit, right? You know, get a little bit tighter. You know, let's be besties, guys. Let's be bestfuls, right? Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Throw it up. Throw it up, throw it up. All right. Watch out for that. All right. Shout out to Rihanna. Maybe not at Ethics Boot Camp. Maybe we won't shout out to Rihanna at Ethics Boot Camp. I'm gonna pull back that shout out to Rihanna. So I feel like we need to bond a little bit. So here's how I eat Rice Krispies. This is a natural place to start, right? Natural, right? Are you fine with this? Yeah, you are. Don't worry about it. So here's how I eat my Rice Krispies. I get my bowl out, get the sugar, get the milk, spoon, Rice Krispies, all the implements of destruction. Pour the Rice Krispies into the bowl. Pour the milk into the bowl till the Rice Krispies just start to move. At which time I feel like there's an appropriate amount of milk for the rest of the process. I then proceed to cover the bowl with my hand. I stir them up so that each Rice Krispie has an appropriate amount of milk on it, no Rice Krispie left behind. I then proceed to drink all of the milk out of the bowl. I inevitably get Rice Krispies in my mustache, a funny thing for anybody looking on. I then proceed to take my spoon, I mash them all down, I take my finger, I make a little divot in the center. Yes, I still play with my food, I'm a grown-ass man. I then proceed to take a stupid amount of sugar. I pour it all over the top and I fill in the divot with sugar, but here's the deal. Mom didn't know about the divot, so that was a win. You know what I'm talking about? Anytime I sneak a little sugar past Mom. I put the spoon in, I dip it all the way down to the bottom. I pull out columns of Rice Krispies. Ideally, I've created a setup where no Rice Krispies will fall to their milky suicide from whence the column was removed. I eat all the way around until I finally have the center stack, the one with the divot on it, most sugar, clearly best bite, scoop it up, put it in my mouth, and that's how I eat Rice Krispies, you guys. There you go. All right, yeah, let's clap it out. Yeah, sure, yeah, this man eats cereal. That's worth an applause break. I have a lot of weird things about me, and I start that way because you need to know from the jump that I'm a little bit weird. But I guess we all have like weird things that we do, right? Maybe we choose not to look extremely attractive and get in front of a bunch of strangers and share them with other people. But guys, that's what I'm doing today. I'm sorry. It just happened. Right? I got a lot of random food quirks. I know whenever I eat chocolate layer cake, I cut out all the cake parts and leave these wondrous walls of icing, and I scoop them up and put them in my mouth. That's what I do, guys. I don't know. It's a weird things. We all have quirks, right? We all have random things about ourselves. Maybe we don't share them publicly. Here's another thing about myself. As you heard, I went to UNC Wilmington over on the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, that is, the other ocean, apparently from here. We're in Colorado. There is no ocean. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, pardon me as I learn geography on stage. So, I went to UNC Wilmington. My GPA was a 2.73, right? Hey, high five. Hi. No, we're not passing out high fives for 2.73s, right? I wasn't getting my Miss North Carolina 2.73 sash on. I don't know why we get a Miss North Carolina one. I don't want to talk about it either. That's what my GPA was. But fortunately, I was able to get into grad school. I don't know how, because I do know how, because I bombed the GRE. Didn't do well on that. Don't really like standardized tests. Don't do well at standardized tests. But I was able to get into grad school because I'm good at shaking hands and kissing babies. You know what I'm talking about? You got to be good at networking in this world, friends. You got to be good at networking. I was able to get into grad school. But it was weird for me, because during my time in undergrad, I had a unique experience as a student leader. How many of you, do we have any resident assistants in the room? Any RAs? A couple RAs. Oh, shoot, a lot of RAs in this one. That's what's up. Friends, let's all get together later. That almost got really awkward. Remember that time I was never invited back to your campus? Good, me neither. I'm Irish, so my face is already red. It works out well. So, anyway, my RAs, we're going to get together later. We're going to make Greek letter shirts. They're going to say Rho Alpha, and on the back it's going to say, we don't throw parties, we bust them. That's not true. They're going to say, we document situations, okay? Thank you. We document situations. It's all good. So I loved being an RA. I was that RA that was always hanging out with his residents, always chilling, whatever, we're hanging out in the center of the floor, whatever we're doing, I'm there hanging out. Oh, everybody, we want to go watch the sunrise? Sure, it's 6:30 in the morning, let's go watch the sunrise. Let's all go do that. We've been up all night, might as well keep it going, right? So we go watch the sunrise and we come back, we're like, man, we could go to bed or we could be first in line at the omelet station. We're like, yeah, we need to be first in line at the omelet station. So we go get some omelets, and then we go to bed, and then we get up for our 9 o'clock classes, right? No. At least not me. They may have. So one day, my residents, we were hanging out, and they're like, hey, James, man, we never see you doing any work, dude. We never see you doing any work, man. When do you get your work done? I was like, oh, man, come on, man. You know I'm out here doing the thing. I'm doing my thing out here. I get my work done after you guys go to bed, right? Come on, right? No, I went to bed after they went to bed. It was 7 in the morning. I'm not stupid. So it was weird because as a student leader, and especially as a resident assistant, new students, we got to push and impress upon them that grades are it, right? We're here. Grades are the reason for the season. We're in college to achieve good grades is what we're supposed to be doing so we don't feel like we wasted our money and so that we can set ourselves up for greatness afterward. So I definitely was preaching that like a boss, but I was not practicing what I was preaching. And so it was interesting because I felt like a giant hypocrite. Felt like a huge hypocrite where I was like, man, I'm like telling people to do this, but I'm not really doing it. And like all of a sudden, like my supervisors at the end were like, hey, we tried to nominate you for awards, but we find out your GPA is terrible. I'm like, yeah, about that, right? See, what happened was. But that's how it was, and it felt awkward. It felt awkward to be a hypocrite. So what we're talking about today is this idea, the session is called Communicate Like a Boss. But what we're really going to talk about is being authentic in our communication, authentic in our leadership techniques. When you guys think of a stereotypical leader, what are some stereotypical characteristics of that leader? Bossy, okay? That may be a negative one. We can go positive or negative, whatever you want to do. What else? Charismatic, you both said at the same time, and I know why. Okay. Oh, shoot, play it louder. Twerk, Molly. All right. Sorry, Jay-Z fan. I can't help it. What else? What are some other characteristics you guys think of? Confident. Love it. What else? Friendly. Okay. Trustworthy. Definitely. These are all amazing stereotypical characteristics of a leader. Myself, I'm a disorganized procrastinator who's awkwardly friendly around students and is arrogant around my fellow professionals. That's what I am. I mean, I can't, don't get me wrong, I think I have other qualities of a leader. I mean, I'm clearly sexy. So someone said sexy, right? Earlier, did someone say sexy? No. But I think I definitely feel like I'm a good leader. Ideally, I have the ability to motivate. You can let me know after this. But I think I have some of these other characteristics. But I have these other things about me, right? You come and look at my office, and it looks like a little kid was on my desk going, papers, yay! It's weird. My office looks atrocious. All right, I'm very disorganized. Things are all over the place. All right, and I'm also a procrastinator. I don't want to talk about that today, though. So cheesy, guys. That was so cheesy, guys. So cheesy. And I'm also one of those guys who's like awkwardly friendly, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like showing up at your house. I never even met him before. I'm calling your mom, calling your dad, going, where are the pretzels? Right? I'm just like hanging out. If we want to be there, let's just be there, right? I'm like in it. I'm like, oh, yeah, tell me all about your life. I want to tell you about mine. Here you go. No, it's weird also. But then whenever I'm like arrogant around my fellow professionals, I get on a committee and I'm like, all right, don't worry about it, guys. I got this, all right? You got Jimmy Robes on it. Don't worry about it. It's interesting to think about when you put all this together because at some point, I'm still seen as a leader. I'm still seen as someone who is able to be defined as a leader. And other people seem to respect me, tell me they respect me, tell me they look up to me, which is awesome, really cool things. But you got to have all these negative characteristics. But I think the reason why that I'm still seen as a leader is because I know who I am and I own it, work it, love it. Right? I know who I am and I own it, work it, love it. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, and I'm not ashamed to admit both of those and talk about those. And that's key. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, is this concept called authentic leadership. Authentic leadership is not my idea. I did not come up with it, but it's kind of like servant leadership or some of the other types of leadership that you've heard, but it's just another arm of that. So authentic leadership is defined by this gentleman named Bill George, who wrote a book called Authentic Leadership. And I read the first third of it and thought it was wonderful. I'm sure the other 2/3 are great. I'll probably read them sometime. I may not read them anytime. Let me be honest, at the ethics boot camp, I probably won't read them ever again. But I read the first third of it, thought it was great, definitely recommend the first third. And he defines authentic leadership as the self-awareness approach to leadership. Self-awareness approach to leadership. Taking a look at the leader as a person. So right now that's kind of heady. I want to break it down. I'm going to teach you guys a word today. By the way, I'm fine if you guys keep your phones out. I don't know if you guys do Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Make sure you're hashtagging this up. Do what you got to do. Stay in touch. Let's keep the conversation going on social media as well. But I'm going to break this down for you and teach you guys a word today. The word is P-orm. Can you say it for me? P-orm. Can you say it for me? P-orm. Now, I am a firm believer that absolutely everything in this world is more funny to say through a Swedish accent. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right now we're going to prove it. Can you all say P-orm for me? Was that more fun? Is that more fun? That was a lot more fun, right? Yeah, I got you. P-orm, P-E-O-R-M. P-E-O-R-M. Authentic leaders are purposeful. They empower others. They own who they are real, and they are moral. Authentic leaders are purposeful. They empower others. They own who they are real, and they are moral. What do the P stand for? Purposeful. Here's the deal with being a purposeful leader and communicating in a purposeful manner. How many of you are in an organization? I see some of you wearing letters around, fraternities and sororities, or some of you maybe in other different organizations within the business school or within other aspects of the college, maybe in your communities. How many of you have ever been in an organization where the individual at the top or one of the executives is only there because they know it's going to look good on their resume? It's a lot of hands. Can somebody who just put their hand up tell me what it feels like? How did you know? Like, how can you tell that about that person? If they're in this room, don't point. You put your hand up, man. I'm going to call on you. Okay. Great. Thank you, ma'am. Somebody else. What else? How can you tell? Sir. Oh, sorry, I got you next, my man. I like that. They're not necessarily compassionate about the whole organization. They have the skill set, but they're not compassionate. Right. Last one. Right, yeah. Guys, we got to follow our goals and our dreams. We're going to just hit greatness. Right, yeah, definitely. They can't discuss in detail or intelligently the goals of the organization. These individuals are constantly, we can call them out because they're see-through. And they're also, on top of being see-through, they get burnt out way quicker than any other individual that actually cares about the organization, right? As leaders, as communicators, your intent will influence your impact. right? Your intent will influence your impact. You must remember why you got into that organization in the first place, or what you're passionate about within that organization, in order to be successful within it, and to actually make sure and see through, or make sure that your goals are seen through to the end and their completion. Otherwise, you get burnt out and it's annoying, and then that person also gets very angsty at meetings, like, oh my God, hurry up, new girl's on, we gotta get out of here. Let's go, Schmidt. So there's that kind of individual where they're just like, all right, they're just so impatient with others and they're bored, and it's kind of like, why are you even here anymore? So instead, what we need to do is make sure that we are communicating in a very purposeful manner, that we are talking to each other in a direction that is actually going to be setting us up for greatness through our own passion of getting there, right? A lot of times organizations have mission statements, moral statements, whatever, mottos, et cetera, et cetera. Every organization has something like this, and that's great. That sounds awesome, but it doesn't. What is your purpose in that organization? What is your purpose in that organization? What is your purpose? It doesn't matter if your own personal purpose in that organization is not something that you are currently living and breathing. The overall mission statement of the organization means garbage. So that's purposeful. Authentic leaders are purposeful. What do the E stand for? Empower. Authentic leaders empower others. In my opinion, empowerment is the single most important aspect of leadership. The single most important aspect of leadership. And here's why. My friend, what is your name, sir? Lorenzo. You're not Italian, are you? Forget about it. All right, don't worry about it. Okay, me neither. Look at my last name, dude. So yeah, I know I said it was Irish earlier. I'm half and half, just so you guys don't think I'm lying. So someone else is like, I'm Saudi Arabian. Oh yeah, I am too. Whatever you say, I am, right? That'd be weird, right? No, half Italian, half Irish. Lorenzo, my man. Here's something you guys didn't know about Lorenzo, all right? Lorenzo, at any point in this story, you stop me if I'm lying, okay? Lorenzo is a beast of an ice climber, okay? A beast of an ice climber. I'm talking about like his mom was an ice climber, his grandma was an ice climber. Mountain is named after his great-great-grandfather. You know what I'm talking about? Dude popped out the womb ready to hit the ice. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, where's the ice? First word was ice, okay? Literally. Dude was ready. Dude was ready for it. So one day Lorenzo's like, hey, we're going to have a program. I have a little program. I want other people to see what I love so much about ice climbing. So we're like, oh, shoot, Lorenzo's going ice climbing. He wants us to come with him. Yo, that dude's a boss. I'm going with him. We're chilling with Lorenzo today. So we all go out, right? Lorenzo, our natural leader. He's been there the most. He's climbed the mountain the most times. He's the one showing up in spiky shoes. The rest of us are showing up in Pumas going like, we didn't know what to expect. But it's all good, right? Lorenzo's got us. Lorenzo, anytime I'm lying, you stop me, remember. So Lorenzo, oh, damn, I was lying the whole time, guys. So Lorenzo decides that we're all going to climb the mountain. Now, what he could do as a person with the most experience is that he could shoot up the mountain the fastest. He could shoot up the mountain the fastest if he wanted. He could pull the rest of us up. But what inevitably would happen is that if we all got pulled up to the top of the mountain, we'd all kind of get up there and be like, oh, wow. Oh, yeah, here we are. This is very nice. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is beautiful. Sure, yeah. I don't know how we got here. Lorenzo dragged us, but this is nice, yeah. Well, I guess I'll just, as long as we're up here. Hashtag mountain. Hashtag duck face. So he could do that, but there's no fulfillment in it. The reason why is because leaders must push, not pull. Right? Leaders should push, not pull. Because if instead Lorenzo's at the back of the pack and he's pushing us up the mountain, and he's pushing us up to the mountain, he's pushing us to the end of the school year in our organization, we get to the end of the mountain, we get to the end of the school year, and all of a sudden we're all like, oh shoot, we just did something. This is awesome. I was a part of the success of this mission, and I feel great about it, and I want to do it again. That idea that leaders should push, not pull. This is key. This is key. But now, what Lorenzo can't do if he's going to push us is he can't be behind and be like, okay, left foot there, right foot there, right hand here. He can't micromanage us the whole way up the mountain. I'm going to tell you guys a quick side note. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. Here's something that you have already all assumed about me, and you're 100% correct. I do my thing on the dance floor, okay? You put these hips in motion, it's about to be a problem. All right, you know what I'm talking about, man? I know you know what I'm talking about. So I went to this wedding one time, and the DJ puts on the cha-cha slide. Everybody know the cha-cha slide? Of course, classic, right? Classic cha-cha slide. Now, another quick side note. Let's have a quick moment of honesty about the cha-cha slide. I don't know, ma'am, I don't know why you didn't write it. Alpha Phi, I don't know why you didn't write it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Because it's literally just a set of directions. So what if the creator of the cha-cha slide was like, you know, I don't want this to be a dance song. I want to be like, let's make it about making brownies. Crack 2 eggs, crack sploosh, crack 2 eggs, crack sploosh, stir it out. Bake it out, right? So I go to this wedding one time. The DJ decides, everybody here looks like a bunch of idiots. So I'm going to go ahead and, nailed it. I'm going to go ahead and do them a favor. And I'm going to say the directions of the dance of the song along with the lyrics of the song, which are directions to the dance of the song. So it was literally like this guy was like, to the left, 2, 3, 4, to the right, 2, 3, 4. Stomp 2 times, you guys, 1, 2. Stomp 2 times, you guys, 1, 2. Turn it out. Go to work. Could you imagine carpooling to work with this guy? Stop at the light, honk 2 times, honk, honk, honk 2 times, honk, honk, turn it out. Drive to work. There's a parking spot. Reverse, reverse. There's a parking spot. Reverse, reverse. He parked the car. Everybody clap your hands. Hey. How low can he go? Can he go? How? Excuse me. Excuse me. It's not that kind of program. Yet. Could I have said yet more creepily? Yet. Yay, creepy. All right. Here's the deal. Good leaders don't micromanage. Great leaders never even think about it, right? Good communicators don't micromanage. Great communicators never even think about it. Because if you're going to micromanage somebody, what you're effectively telling them is like, hey, P.S., you're an idiot, okay? You're welcome. I'm going to do this for you. And so we can't do that. If we are going to effectively challenge those who work around us, if we are going to effectively challenge those who work around us, we must give them an opportunity to fail. We have to. Because if there's no stakes, why would anybody do anything? There's no stakes, why would anybody do anything? We have to have that sense of accomplishment within us. But if someone micromanages through the whole process, we just feel dumb at the end of it. And we're like, why didn't you just do it? So that is what empowerment breaks down in my eyes, and why it's so important. This idea that leaders must push, not pull. So authentic leaders are purposeful, they empower others, they own who they are, and they are real. Own and real kind of sound a little bit similar, but here's the way I differentiate the two. We must own who we are before we can be real to somebody else. Right? We must own who we are before we can be real to someone else. Owning who you are is scary. The mirror is scary. And sometimes trying to think about the things that you don't do that well is not fun. But it is so important for our growth. It is so important. So there's one thing I love to do. I love to do this. Now, I'm a firm believer that the best conversations we all will ever have take place after 11 o'clock at night at Waffle Houses, Denny's, diners, IHOPs, In-N-Outs, whatever you got in your area. At all those places, the best conversations are when we're all wearing our awkward pajama pants and we're like, we want milkshakes. First off, if you don't like milkshakes, get out. Unless you're lactose intolerant, in which case I'm perfectly fine with your disability. So something I love to do whenever we're ever in one of those situations where like, this feels like it's going to be a deep conversation. I love dropping this bomb. Love dropping this bomb on people. So here's the question that I love to ask, and I'll ask it to you right now. What is one lie that you tell yourself every single day? What is one lie that you tell yourself every single day? Because here's the deal. We all do it, right? Sometimes it's like a smaller lie of like, I'm definitely going to the gym today. Right? And then we all don't go to the gym except for that one person who Instagrammed that they went to the gym. We all feel bad about ourselves while we're eating cookies and cream. What is one lie that you tell yourself every single day? Maybe it's that I'm going to study today. But those ones are kind of the surface ones, right? I'm talking about the deeper ones. Those deeper things that sometimes hold us back from things that we want to do or that we should be doing. Or maybe hold us back from making an independent choice versus going along with the group mentality. Those kind of lies that are in there. And you want to share one? My man. That you're doing the best you can every single day. I like that, man. How does that affect you? Yeah? Yeah. Got you, man. I like that. I like that, right? We're all just out here trying to win, right? Just trying to win, for sure. I think we all have these deeper things inside of us. For me, I mean, you see me up here, right? I'm looking good, y'all. Come on now, this outfit's looking fresh. You know, I'm up here looking Pinterest fresh. You know what I'm talking about? Look at these socks, y'all. Come on, dude. Come on. Didn't know about the sock game. Didn't know about the sock game. Please, hashtag Pinterest fresh. So, but here's the thing, is that this is a shell, right? This is a shell that I have to put on because for whatever reason, in the back of my head, I assume that if I was just up here, like if I was up here wearing like jeans and a sweatshirt or something like that, or if I was up here, you know, just jeans and maybe just a button down or whatever, that you guys would actually be like, yo, who's this blob talking to us? That it would be something where I would convince myself, or I have convinced myself, that I have to look this good so that you pay attention to my message. Because this way it's like, oh, this guy looks good, I'm going to pay attention to him. That's not how it works though, right? It's message over freshness, guys. But that's the sick and twisted thing that I go inside my head. So this is a lie that I tell myself every day. It's like, oh, if I put this on, then I have a nice shell, and I don't have to think about my low self-esteem about my physical appearance. Maybe that's a little too deep for the room, but it's all good because it's real, right? And that's something I need to own about myself. Maybe some of you struggle with some self-esteem issues as well. And it's real. It's something that we do. But we have to start owning those things so that we can start being real to other people. So we have to own those things so we can be real to other people, because then the next logical question is, if we're going to talk about being real, is who do you show people? Who do you show people? We can walk around this campus and we can notice that there's a lot of people dressed very similarly. Let's own it, right? Are you doing that to kind of like get in where you fit in? It's like, hey, let me just slide in with the crowd over here because then I don't have to worry about anybody noticing any of my idiosyncrasies. Is it just easier to fit in than it is to stand out? I don't know what it is, right? It takes a lot of courage to stand out often. But that idea of being real. So, because who do you show people? So I went to this, I worked at Fordham University for a little while in New York City. And I had the opportunity to supervise a lot of student leaders on that campus. And also one of my roles was being a part of the judicial hearing team. So there's this one student that we had who just like kept doing a lot of stupid things around the hall, but they were never like big enough that we could like really bring him in and put him through the judicial process, but we know he kept doing the stuff and just like, it was just very annoying, like ripping down people's whiteboards and just stuff like really petty stuff. And just kind of very much breaking down the community that we were trying to build. And so, but then one day he messed up. One day he went and stole a bunch of stuff from the bookstore. And we're like, oh, okay, all right, let's bring him in. Let's have this conversation with him. Let's really try to get this in. And we had, my supervisor was like, hey, I'm coming in. I'm going to sit on the judicial hearing board with you, and which means she was going to run it. That's supervisor talk for I'm going to do this. And so she sat down, and we had this meeting with the student. It was her and I and the student. And the student, I guess, I don't know if he thought all night about it, but he came up with a pretty bad defense for himself. And his defense in the middle of the judicial hearing board was like you've never done anything wrong. And I'm sitting there, I was like, is that what you got, dude? You will never be my lawyer. Like, that's terrible. But that's what he's like. He's like, you've never done anything wrong. Like, looking at us like, it's like, oh, you're right, we have done anything wrong. Go ahead, sir, run away, go frolic. No. But what was worse than that was my supervisor's response. Because she turned to him, looked him dead in the eye, and said, no, I haven't. And I looked over at her real quick. I was like, nah, man, focus up. Don't don't get fired right now. And so the student was obviously like, okay, that's BS. So, right. So lady, like, you've never done 36 and a 35. You never rolled the stop sign. You've never, all these other things. You know what I'm saying? You've never used the handicap stall when you yourself don't identify as being handicapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, these kind of things. And she's like, no, I haven't. And I was sitting next to her. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, we were driving around in your Hummer up and down 8th Avenue, and you were swerving in and out, cursing at people left and right yesterday. It's terrible, because she missed a huge opportunity to be real with that individual. Because what would have even been more effective, though it's still probably, may not have been the best, but would have been more effective if she was like, yeah, I have, I just wasn't dumb enough to get caught. Right? I mean, that would have been more effective than, no, I haven't. And the reason why is because we as humans can only learn from people who are imperfect. We can't learn from people who are perfect, because we're imperfect. So in that moment, he shut down. And he was like, I can't even talk to you, because there's nowhere to grow. No learning can happen in that exact moment. It's like, well, this meeting's pointless. This is great. All right. And it's terrible. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about being real to other people. So authentic leaders are purposeful, empower others, own who they are real to others, and they are moral. And they are moral. Here's something that you guys have already assumed about me. And you're also correct. I was a giant kleptomaniac from 7th grade. Started stealing pretzels from the lunchroom like a boss. All the way through my sophomore year of college. Now, don't get me wrong. I was not out like doing like car heists, bank robberies, stealing babies. Give me that kid. That's not what was happening. But it was all petty stuff, mainly stealing things like Reese's peanut butter cups and, like Pillsbury Doughboy crescent rolls, because those things are just so damn good, man. So good. I'll tell you what, I'll do almost anything for a biscuit. So, but that's what I was. It was very interesting. I would keep doing it. I lived in this apartment my first couple of years with some friends on campus, and I would leave the apartment whenever I was going to go over to the convenience store and be like, oh, man, all right, Jake, you want some Kit Kats? Brian, want 3 Musketeers? All right, dudes, I'll be back in a minute. We're going to call this an hotel tax. And I'd go back, I'd steal them some stuff, I'd come back, steal myself some stuff, I'd come back, and we'd all be happy, right? And I kept doing this because I never got caught. I kept doing this, and my logic in my head was, well, if you're good at something, which is terrible logic, but that's what I was, until one day I had this conversation with my dad. I called my dad up. Because for whatever reason, I wanted these big speakers. I don't know why, but just really wanted these big speakers. And I was like, Dad, they're on sale. They're the brand I've been looking for. But my check for being an RA isn't coming till the next week. They're only on sale this weekend. Can you send me some money? It'd be awesome. And I'll just get these speakers. I'll pay you back next week. And my dad was like, okay. I was like, oh, that never happens. What? But of course, there was a catch. My dad was like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. He's like, but do me a favor. You have to stop stealing. And I was like, oh, crap. Does Dad know? What does Dad know? Who told Dad? How much does Dad know? It doesn't matter. Dad knew. But he went on with the story, and he's like, James, here's the deal. He's like, the guy that you are, the man that you are, the man that you're trying to be, is not someone who is also someone who steals things. He's like, when we come down and visit you at college, we don't talk to your residents. They don't come up to us like, oh my God, James is so great. He made me feel like home here my first year. He helped me out with this breakup I was going through. He high-fived me when I got my internship. He did all these really cool things, and every once in a while, he gets me goldfish. Like that last part doesn't happen in the conversation. He's like, when we met your vice president was like, James is one of our true leaders on this campus. He really gets it. He's doing amazing things. He's one of our best RAs. He develops an amazing community, and he was involved in this really situation that he handled very well. And every once in a while, we let him steal some caramellos just because we like him. No, that last part didn't happen. He's like, so why do you have this one thing in your life that you do that if anybody found out about, it would immediately discredit everything else that you do in your life? Because we all potentially have something like that. We all have that skeleton in our closet that if somebody found out that we also do X, everybody would kind of back up and be like, really? So why do we allow those things to persist in our lives? Why don't we get rid of those things so that we can effectively live and be a complete person that we want to be, as opposed to have this like random side thing, these vices? So it's something that we need to think about, right? Because the idea of morality within leadership is key, because our morals are really all we have. Here's a quick analogy that I kind of to articulate this point. In my opinion, we are all kind of like brick pillars. We're all kind of like brick pillars, where each brick within our pillar is a different experience that we've had. You know what I'm saying? The first time we learned how to ride a bike, first time we went and jumped in our neighbor's pool, it was like, great. When we got our first gaming system, whenever we had our first kiss, when we got our first heartbreak, when the first relative of ours passed away, that time that we saw the guy get punched in the face, and we're like, wow, I don't think I ever want to get punched in the face. All these different experiences that we have are these bricks that are moving upwards, but our morals are the mortar that holds that all together. And when I say morals, I mean your own personal definition of right and wrong, however you've gotten there. Maybe it's through your parents, through your grandparents, through religion, through just your own life experiences. Whatever it is, you've come up with these definitions, your own personal definition of what is right and wrong. That is the mortar that holds all of that together and enables us to be a strong, confident individual. And that's why our morals are so important, and we can never abandon them, because if so, we're just an awkward pile of bricks, and no one knows what to do with us. So we get skipped past when job opportunities come along, or we get skipped past when friendship opportunities come along. So morals are key. So if we, in my opinion, breaking down authentic leadership into this word PORM, authentic leaders are purposeful, they empower others, they own who they are real, and they are moral. Let's segue this into a different kind of topic. Let me ask you guys this question. What do you think the difference is between being a role model and being a hero? What is the difference between a role model and a hero? Sir. Interesting. Or maybe a role model looks like he's doing well, a hero actually does it. Interesting. Sir. Okay. So you think role models are more selfish in that way? Or what do you mean by that? Okay. Okay, interesting. You had your hand up. Yes, ma'am. It was a vague point, but... Okay, I like that. My man. Okay. All right. One more in the stripes. Yeah, definitely. So here's the thing, is that there's no necessarily right or wrong answer in here. It's how you view it. In my own personal definition, I think the main difference between being a role model and being a hero comes down to two things: tangibility and transparency. I think we should have a lot of role models in our lives. individuals that we see that do really cool things, like, oh, I love the way you work with children. I love the way you work with elderly. I wish I could do as much community service as you. I wish I could be good as math as you. Whatever it is, we have these different roles. We have a lot of role models in our life, but we only have a few, maybe one or two heroes. And in my opinion, this is my own personal definition, right? There's no right and wrong, so take whatever your definition is and apply it accordingly. But in my opinion, heroes exemplify perfection. So, for example, my hero is my grandfather. He was in the New York Police Department, rose up very high. He helped bring down a serial killer by the name of Son of Sam. And he also was involved in the Harlem riots, the subway fires, et cetera, et cetera. He was an amazing man when I got to know him. By the time I was born and got to interact with him, he was driving every and any old lady to church, you know what I'm saying? Like just doing the right thing at every single turn. I never saw a flaw in my grandfather, and therefore he's my hero. But he's also my hero because I can never be him. Because I don't think he was perfect in my eyes. And I can't be perfect because I've already done things that I'm not proud of. So I'm already imperfect. So in my opinion, it comes down to tangibility and transparency. Because with role models, we can see their faults. We can see the things that they're doing wrong. But we still appreciate them for it. So I spoke at the University of Akron one time, and this gentleman who was supposed to come up and tell me his name, when I asked him this question, he responded with this way, and I don't know what his name is, but shout out to that dude. But he broke it down very simply. He said, simply, hero, wrong place, wrong time, right person. Role model, right place, right time, right person. And I really like that. Obviously, I stole it. But I think what we need to be doing within our communities is being role models, is being someone who is tangible and someone who is there in the flesh with us and we can see through them. Because ultimately, if you have a bunch of heroes running an organization, then everybody below them will always feel incompetent and like they're out of place and they'll feel stupid, which is terrible. But if we have a bunch of role models leading an organization where conversations flow more authentically, more authentically, what it effectively does is it lowers down the organizational chart of that business. And it makes people feel like they can rise up in it because they know that they have flaws, but the people above them have flaws. And it's like, okay, they got there with their flaws. I can get there with my flaws too. And let's have these open dialogues and these open conversations so that we can work on it together. So it doesn't feel like it's just a couple people dragging a bunch of incompetent peons behind them. Instead, it's one unit that's all working together and communicating effectively together to reach that goal. Does that make sense? Excellent. I want to check, Corey, time check real quick. I'm sorry. I forgot to look at my watch when I came up. Thank you, Professor C. I appreciate it. So, I think this is key, and I think we really need to work on trying to be role models. We should be surrounded by role models, right? We should have a lot of people who are better than us surrounding us, because that's ideally what, like, your friends should be greater than you in certain ways, and that's things you appreciate about them. You want to emulate in them, and that's an awesome place to be. I think that's key when we're trying to develop these relationships, both in the workplace and out of the workplace, is that you don't want to hire people. You don't want to hire people who are stupider than you or they're dumber than you because they're not going to help their business grow. Yeah, you're going to feel better about yourself at the end of the night, but your organization, your business is not actually going to do anything. Because in my opinion, as leaders, it is not only your job to influence others, but it's your job to let others influence you. As leaders, it's not only your job to influence others, but it's your job to let others influence you. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one who has to fall asleep to the sound of your own heartbeat. And you're the only one who knows when you were being fake, who knows that you're just out there trying to pass and just trying to seem competent, trying to seem perfect. But eventually, that won't work. And cracks will form, and people will see through it, and the results will be devastating. So let's start being honest with ourselves now so we can start being honest with others now and going forward. I'll end on this one quote. You guys know Mumford & Sons? Mumford & Sons, big Mumford & Sons fan. So Mumford & Sons has this quote in their song Lie Awake where they simply say, "In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. But where you invest your love, you invest your life. They say, in these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die, but where you invest your love, you invest your life. If you invest your love in being your best, authentic self, then life is going to feel a hell of a lot easier, and you're going to be so much happier, and others around you will be affected by you more positively. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Almost got it, man. All right, you want me to, anybody beatbox in the room? Oh, come on up, let's go. How you gonna be bashful about that? How you gonna be bashful? You really beatbox? I do. Let's go, hit him with something real quick. What's your name? Yo, everybody, this is Mia. Clap it out for Mia. Hit him with something, show it off.
What kind of beat do
You're
you
just
want?
gonna show off right now, and then we're gonna rap in a second.
Okay.
What? I really wish we had another mic right now, because I would hook it up and let you rock. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna, yeah, all right. Well, here's what's gonna happen. So I need 2 words from you. Any 2 words? Ethics, thanks, dude. Real original. Ethically, what was it? What did you say? Sidewalk? Ethics, sidewalk, inspire. All right, we're gonna try to work these in. What? Biscuit? Shout out to Biscuits. All right, we're gonna try to work some of these in. We're gonna figure it out. Unfortunately, we don't have another beat or another mic, so you're just gonna have to kill it, and I'm gonna go in over you. Yeah, you're so happy about that, right? Yeah, I know. God, it sucks being so talented. Ah, gross. All right. All right, let's do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. That beat was good. All right. Check it. Hypothetically, I'm ethically the best I'll ever be. You know I'm up here killing the rhyme. I didn't think I'd do it, B, but now I'm killing it. Your boy be grilling it, cause I'm cheese. Please. You know I'm out here doing it all for the G's. You know I'm doing it for fun and I'm having big pun. I don't know what that means. I'm on the sidewalk, son. I'm just out here walking. Never been stalking, but on an Instagram. Oh, she talking. Oh, yeah, you know we having fun. We gonna do it for days. My girl dropping the beat. Verbal talents on displays. You know me. I'm crispy like the Triscuits, but your boy sweet and cushy like a biscuit. Oh yeah, you know I'm bringing the money and everybody wanna see me just sprinkle on some honey. Yeah, you know I'm killing the rhyme and I'll be killing the time. I do it right on the dime. You know I could slow it down and spit it into slow-mo, but y'all just got a verse from your boy named Robo. Awesome. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.